You're listening to The Startup with Monique LeRae, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello in Los Angeles. This is The Startup with Monique LeRae. I'm Monique LeRae, back with a fresh episode. Happy pre-Halloween. I'm in my Wednesday best for the pre-festivities. I'm actually going to be something different this year, but you know, this is easy to do and still looks semi-professional on the show. I'm very excited. We've got two talented guests today. Let's jump right into it with Drew Neisser. And I want to make sure I don't butcher your last name.
I should have told you. It's Neisser as in wiser.
Oh, Neisser. Okay, I put a little French on it. But
Yeah,
okay, even better. Welcome to the Startup, Drew. How are you?
I'm great, Monique. How are you? And thank you for having me. And congrats on your Emmys and all the good stuff you're doing.
Thank you so much. And congrats to you. You are a busy gentleman. I can't wait to jump into it. You know, we're at the end of this quarter. People are gearing up for next year and setting their intentions and their business goals. I think that your interview's right on time. So why don't we go full screen and give you the floor to introduce yourself and your brands and what you're up to.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm Drew Neisser, and I grew up in Southern California, but I've been in New York so long that I call myself a Yankee fan. I know, full stop for Dodger fans. Anyway, here's Drew by the numbers with the help of some profs. I have a wonderful wife and a dog. Not in that order, wife, dog. I've got two wonderful grown-up children who live in Brooklyn. I've written 2 books. I've started 2 companies, and I have 3 obsessions. One is chief marketing officers and helping them become the world's greatest CMOs. 2 is Ben Franklin, who I consider America's first chief marketing officer. And 3, penguins. Okay. And there's a lot of connections between all of those. But if we go back to CMOs, this is my mana. I started interviewing them over 15 years ago. I've now interviewed over 600 of them and recorded 400 episodes of Renegade Marketers Unite. And the last thing I'll say about penguins is that a group of penguins is called a huddle. And my second company is called CMO Huddles. And we're all about penguins. How's that?
I love that energy. Thank you for running it down. You are truly a master of the elevator pitch, even the elevator bio breakdown. Where can we start? Let's start with these 600 plus interviews that you've done. Tell me how you approached that. Was that your intention leading in? That sounds like quite a lot to bite off.
Yeah. So again, this is the part I think one of your earlier guests from a couple of weeks ago talked about how persistence and consistency over time can yield unexpected results. I ran an agency called Renegade Marketing for a long time. That's also the title of my second book. And we had a client who started a community of chief marketing officers called the CMO Club. In order to sort of help him, we built the website, designed the logo, but I started to interview CMOs. This is like 15 years ago as a way of giving back to this community and ingratiating myself with the community. Little did I know that as I kept going with these things, I hit 100 and someone said, there's a book in there, Drew. And so sure enough, I wrote the CMO's periodic table. Fast forward, and this is sort of the critical transition, at about episode 400 plus of, 400 interview, my friend Pete Kranick, who founded the CMO Club, decided on March 2nd, 2020 to sell the club. And he sold it to Salesforce 2 weeks before the pandemic. And the light bulbs went off for me. Right away, I went, okay, Salesforce will screw it up. Ultimately, by the way, they did close it down. And there's always been a need for B2B, a focus on business to business marketing and the chief marketing community and bringing them together, because I did the curriculum for the club in that area. So anyway, April 1st, 2020, while still running the agency, I started this second organization called CMO Huddles and gathered 20 CMOs that I knew. And we met 55 times in 6 months.
Wow.
So now we're 4 years later, we're a community of almost 400 chief marketing officers. And I am lucky enough that I get to keep interviewing and talking to these folks. Did I know when I did my first CMO interview that I'd end up running a community and coaching CMOs? No, but the there was a lot of persistence and learning that went into this. And I know you feel that way every time you do a podcast. You learn something, right?
Absolutely. Well, yes, absolutely. And that's kind of what keeps me going too, because we're always learning and elevating. And way to put it, and what vision for that executive and for that company to decide to sell right before the pandemic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What is your takeaway from that? Or what was theirs to your understanding?
He had a really, really good run of 12 plus years, and his timing is just unbelievable because it was built on totally getting people together for dinners. And, we stopped having dinners for a couple of years. So his timing couldn't have been better. I couldn't be happier for him. And it created a unique opportunity for me. And now it wasn't a surprise. I had been working with CMOs for a long time. I mean, you can tell with gray hair, I'm not a young individual. But the relationships that I had built through these interviews and running stories in Ad Age and featuring them in one book, and then during the pandemic, I finished my second book, Renegade Marketing, and I just feel very fortunate that I've just kept going with this. And now CMO huddles, we're gathering them and helping each other, as we like to say, share, care, and dare each other to greatness, just about every week.
Wow, share, care, and dare. I like your piece about the consistency piece. I agree with that. Consistency and continuity is so important. Where are you at the end of Q4 this year with the huddles? Are you bringing more people in? What are the pre-quals? What are you looking for? Because you're obviously a leader, your father, your husband, and it sounds like you need to be somewhere to go to the next level. Obviously, a CMO, but CFO, CMO. But what are you looking for if someone were to join?
So it's really, really simple. Are they still curious? If they have all the answers, they don't need us. This is a very, very hard job. It is notoriously the hardest job in the C-suite. It is one where there's almost consistently a mismatch between the CEO or CFO and the CMO in terms of what marketing can and can't do, and when and how long it takes to do it right. So it's a really hard job. The good news is somebody out there has solved one of your problems. The bad news is if you don't make time to connect with those individuals, you're going to be really, really isolated. So, our goal is just to bring them together and help each other. And it's incredible when it happens. And we do that on a number of levels. We do it with our regular huddles or peer huddles, where we have 10 to 12, say, CMOs on a topic every month. Then we have we have best-selling authors come in to talk, and we arrange one-on-ones. And then we have our own little show called CMO Huddle Studios that we run live, and they get to meet 3 CMOs on a topic of interest. So lots of different ways of building community and sharing expertise. In terms of us, our business is sort of pretty much reflecting the B2B market. I mean, we've grown, but it hasn't been like the first 2 years when the market was really, really strong. B2B, budgets are down. CMOs are feeling even more pressure. There's a lot of research out there we did our own study on with about 124 chief marketing officers and found what we called the hidden recession. It's been a very tough year for them. And, all I can say is I'm really empathetic.
Yes. Yes. And it sounds like you tapped into something that a lot of people don't, because there might be this hidden dialogue or this outwardly dialogue about, hey, you made it to the C-suite, don't complain. Like, you should know what to do. Like, figure it out. But I like that you're probably preventing a lot of quiet quitting, a lot of burnout by wrapping around one another and elevating. Oftentimes, good ideas come from a need. And so, was it your experience where you needed that support?
Yeah, you're a lot of good points in there to unpack. And as I'm thinking about this, I'll share a sort of marketing thing in a way that I've helped these folks know that they're not alone. So exactly 33 Sundays ago, I decided to start an editorial series on LinkedIn. And my goal was to help articulate the real pain and suffering that and just the issues that chief marketing officers were facing. So every Saturday at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. on LinkedIn, as long as you can write, the one post has about 700 words, maybe it's a little less. And what's been amazing is that these posts have gone viral. I mean, one of them got 140,000 organic engagements. I mean, just insane. And it comes down to that there are real pain points that they're facing, and they need them to be articulated. They need to know. And so we're becoming champions of these folks and helping them sort of deal with irrationality. We had literally, my post this week was our CFO asked us for the ROI of a new hire, one hire. What was the ROI?
Right. Yeah.
And like, fortunately we gathered around and we hugged and we said, oh my God, I can't believe that request. And then we sort of worked our way through it. And my post on LinkedIn does the same thing. So it's, again, you're not always dealing with rational individuals who necessarily understand how marketing works. Less than 20% of CEOs ever spent any time in marketing.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy number. And that's
it is crazy. Say that number one more time for the seats in the
less
back.
than 20% of CEOs, this is B2B companies, have any experience in marketing. They didn't spend a day in a marketing chair. But if you ask them, 90% will say they know marketing really well.
Oh, right. I mean, they've got the gift of gab for sure, and they know how to sell themselves. I mean, I love that you're sharing that statistic. I can kind of see the juxtaposition with production when, a lot of these executives, God bless them, they're good at what they do. Sometimes they could learn, but they never were a PA. They never were a production assistant. Right. They didn't pound the pavement in casting. Yeah, nice that you want a pony and an Amish family and, a circus, and you want all these beautiful characters for your show, but getting out there and casting it is a whole nother thing. So I love that I've had the pound the pavement, blood, sweat, and tears experience to bring that forth, and I can be empathetic when I'm doing that in my current position. So that number is crazy, but I want to commend you with the 130,000+ organic engagements and fellowship, because you're onto something. I think, are we going to see you on TED Talk soon? Did you do one already?
I don't know. At this point, I'm so busy with the CMOs and doing it. We've got our first conference, the Super Huddle, coming up on November 8th, and we've got 101, as I like to say, 101 really marketing leaders surrounded with some other business executives to try to. I like to say that 2024 is the year that broke B2B, and this is the group that can fix it. And so it's not going to be doing the same things that we did last year. And it's looking at a lot of different issues that they're facing, from leadership, from creativity, from MarTech, from Gen AI. There's just so many issues that they're dealing with right now. And, so we're gathering to do our best to at least present inspiration that will help folks think through some really tough challenges.
Well, listen, it sounds like you have your finger on the pulse, and you're doing this UN of marketing executive giants. And I know you guys are going to come out with something absolutely fantastic. Are there any spots left? Where can people pick up the book? Let's plug.
Okay. All right. Well, so first of all, the book, Renegade Marketing, is it's a lovely book. It's a lot of fun. There's like 30 or 40 fun case history. So well worth a read. I'll send you a copy, Monique.
I can't wait.
No, it reads like a comedy. And then let's see, the Super Huddle. If you go to cmohuddles.com, we have literally 5 seats left for chief marketing officers at companies of at least 50 or more people. That's that. You will, and it's so in the spirit of Halloween, I did want to put this on and just let you know that our expression for that event is that it's flocking awesome.
It's flocking awesome.
Flocking awesome, because we're penguins and we're huddling and we're going to solve some amazing problems. So yeah, that's exciting. And my book is also available in audio, which was a fun experience. So I do want to ask you, I want to go back to, there is something in the what I've done on LinkedIn, and it sort of does get to generative AI too. I've written every single word. I've never run any single, even the thought, not a single word has gone through generative AI. So, and that's important because this is really, sometimes I make mistakes and someone will correct it, but it's 100% human. And that is who I am in terms of this audience. Like I engage with them on that level. However, the images that I create in that series, and those have gotten a lot of attention, are generated with ChatGPT, and it's penguins as a penguin CMO in an awkward situation. Like last week, it was CMOs were struggling to get a seat in the C-suite, and so I show our penguin hero CMO outside of an Antarctic conference room where there's a sign that says C-suite, and clearly the CMO is not in the room. And it's just little things like that. So I've had a lot of fun with the generative AI images, but the 100% human. And I write all the responses to it. And the key is that we get a lot of people debate these things. And and
that's what I want to say. We'll have to come back to go deep dive in AI because that's something that I'm quite passionate about. But I love your passion as well. Drew, thank you for being here. I have my next guest coming now. Please come back. Knock it out of the park. It looks like we just lost Drew.
Yeah.
We'll have him back soon.
I don't know where my camera went. Sorry about that. Hang on.
That's okay. It's still technology. But come back soon. And good luck with your conference. And it's a pleasure to see you. Happy Halloween.
Monique, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Drew. Ciao. All right. That was Drew. He's very motivational. I love everything he's doing. Can you guys believe the numbers that he's doing? Get his book, Revenge, Renegade Marketing. Next up, we have a wonderful guest, Stephanie. Stephanie, how's it going? Welcome to the startup. How are you?
Awesome. It's great. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here. I'm in my Halloween vibe. I didn't give the memo out, so it's kind of a fun surprise, but I'm Wednesday from Adam's Family.
I love it. I wasn't that creative. I am tonight a girl that is stuffed from eating a yummy dinner for a birthday celebration of a family member and on a Sunday night, ready for the week.
I love that. Well, why don't we go full screen and let the listeners and viewers be introduced to who you are and what you do. So Sam, go full screen on Stephanie and give us your intro.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Stephanie Warlick with 5 Foot View. I am a fractional chief operating officer. I love everything that Drew said. Love marketing. I'm one of that 20% that have never sat in the marketing office, but I can tell you that I've done every other back office of corporations and startups, and I help small businesses scale to be as successful as possible.
Fractional is the word. Wonderful. So let's go a little deeper. I would really love to learn and why don't you share a little bit with how you got into this, Stephanie? What was the gateway to you finding that secret sauce to help these brands scale?
Yeah, that's great. You know, I got the secret sauce by accident. It was I guess it's like the rest of my life. I'm not a great cook. And I stumbled upon it after years of being in different small business, large business, public and private and government contracting and all of these things where I served all the back office things. I finally, like age 50, was like, I had been an entrepreneur. I love running small businesses. And it was really more of a decision of I'm going to go to this place as opposed to creating the recipe. I just decided this is what I want. So that's what I do.
That's it. You followed your gut. And I think there's, like Drew, like yourself, like myself, there's something about the way we are. I don't know if it's, I guess, psychologists or therapists could say it's a little bit of, your surroundings. It's a little bit of how you're born. I mean, what say you when it comes to what makes us who we are in this way of excitement and entrepreneurship?
That's such a great question. And it actually is the premise behind the next book that I'm writing called Owner Mindset and How to Develop an Entrepreneurial Spirit to be Successful in the Corporate World. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
still interviewing with tons of people and investigating. I did have the privilege of growing up in small businesses and being around entrepreneurs most of my life, but I've met other successful entrepreneurs that didn't have that nurture experience. And so I'm really trying to figure out, is that mindset nature versus nurture? And can we train people on how to be successful by thinking like an entrepreneur, which is developing creativity and risk averseness and that go for it attitude, and that I'm just going to get up every day and go, and that excitement to build it and they will come. I don't know. I'm still in the
Yeah.
investigative process for my next book.
Well, I love that you gave us a sneak peek there. You guys got a first look here. Maybe you'll have the, the tell all and answer all, and it'll be
Yeah.
a bestseller, I'm sure. And speaking of books, I'm excited to share with the listeners and viewers that Stephanie has a book right now, Stand in the Gap, and it's a coach method of reasons behind her book, Dark and Silent Office. Talk about that, because we were just talking
Yeah.
about the pandemic.
Right.
Tell us more.
Okay. Yeah. So Stand in the Gap method is my coaching methodology and mindset that leads me to the owner mindset about this idea of stand in the gap. And I can't take ownership over the concept stand in the gap. It really came from my former COO, Michelle, that is a dear friend and a former boss that I just adore. And she would say to me, Steph, well, I guess I should back up. I would say, that person's not doing that, or no one's taking action there, and that's impacting my success. I'm going to go take care of that. Can I do that? And she would say to me, Steph, if you're willing to stand in the gap and take care of that, I got your back all day long. Go solve that problem. And I really think that's the crux of owner mindset, of just solving problems and identifying problems that no one else is taking care of. So in that realm, my Dark and Silent Office book was created because I was a chief administrative officer for a digital accessibility company. And I found myself at 50 years old not being able to communicate as a chief human resources officer in that role with my coworkers that were blind and deaf. And I was embarrassed and ashamed. And I thought, this is crazy. How am I a senior professional in HR certified? And this far in my career, 30 years, and I don't have the ability and the skills and the knowledge to be inclusive. And so I just decided I was going to figure it out and write a book. So I did. Dark and Silent Office is about inclusive communication so that each one of us in a non-low tech, low cost way do little things each day. I use the phrase, gosh, what do I use the phrase? Sorry.
There's so many cool phrases. Yeah.
I use the phrase of intentional instead of random acts of kindness, intentional acts of inclusion. And
Right.
and it's so easy to do that with digital accessibility. People get overwhelmed by the concept, but my book is a quick, easy guidebook to help people really be inclusive and expand their inclusion in their workplace.
Well, I think that is really beautiful. And you might have an answer to your book that you're working on there, which you kind of gave me an answer on part of my question when you just shared this story because of this experience, because there's a certain go get it, figure it out. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to
Yeah.
find out the answer in
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that you just can't buy. It's like
Right.
fitness. We need that secret workout meal
Right.
plan so I can be the weight I want and the health I want. And everybody's different. But one thing about entrepreneurs is we really don't sit around and wait. Would
Yeah.
you agree?
I 100% agree. And I think what makes a successful entrepreneur is also realizing what they do well and what they don't do well, like hiring a CMO, Andrew, your former guest, or hiring a fractional COO, or hiring a CFO, because really building a strong company and great teams is about optimizing each person's skills and abilities to build a well-rounded team to move
That's it.
everything forward so that we all are delegating and elevating. And I also subscribe to the EOS methodology, and that is about everybody being in the right seat, the right person in the right seat, and taking advantage of those skills and abilities, because it's all of our strengths and abilities. And that's why diversity is so important, because our different mindsets can make us that much stronger.
It is not a dirty word, everybody. Diverse can mean so many things. It doesn't mean that you're going after a certain political candidate. It means garnering and maximizing the strengths of others and minimizing the strengths of others. And it's a reflection of you. And I love what you're saying. I think we are, and we'll see what Drew's team does, and we'll have to follow up with you. But I think we're on the precipice of something really magical when we all can lean in with AI and just speaking of delegating and not being afraid to lean all in there. There's a book I'm reading for my MBA, All In on AI. And it's really not as scary as people think, because we prompt it. It's just us delegating the machines to work for us, So
I agree. I will agree. I agree with you. But unlike Drew, I do use AI, and as an HR professional, I will say though that AI is not really intelligence. It is fed the knowledge and the errors and the biases that we have fed it over hundreds of years. So it is to be used with caution. It does help us propel and move forward, but we do need to say, hey, when you give me this answer, make sure you eliminate all bias.
That's absolutely a beautiful, smart, emotionally intelligent, business intelligent way to say that. I think there are talks. In fact, I know there are talks of creating a commission or something that holds, because there is a whole part of this learning I'm doing about ethical AI. Because yes, we prompt the machines, and I love that. So let's plug these books that are on the market, because we're just in time for the holidays. This would make a great stocking stuffer for that friend that's going in the business, or someone that's having that needs some inspiration or some help. Please plug your book. Do you have the cover with you? If not, let's find it where we can purchase it.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't even think
Don't
of that.
Sorry.
I guess I need a CMO like Drew.
No, it's a Sunday, and I'm asking executives to talk to me on a Sunday, and that's a big, tall ask. Anyway, why don't you plug where we can find your books?
Yeah, the best place to find my books is stephaniewarlick.com. Both my books are there, because I also have a current children's book, and that's actually a really great stocking stuffer. But Dark and Silent Office is the business book, and it's also, both books are also available on Amazon.
I love this. Congratulations. I know that being an author, having a life, and doing all that you do is not easy. And I'm really grateful that we have you on. I would love for you to come back. There's a couple things I think that you would be great for. We have a couple of things coming up that would be great to have your children's book in. What's the title of the children's book?
Squirrels Bowling on the Roof.
Hey, I had some squirrels bowling for my pumpkins, and they've been my pumpkin eaters on my steps recently.
That's funny. So for me, Squirrels Bowling on the Roof was another stand in the gap moment where when I had toddlers that were twins, they had some fears about some loud noises, particularly thunder and lightning, which to me sounded like squirrels bowling on the roof, and I couldn't find a book to help them. So I decided to create a book for children with fears of loud noises.
Wow, Stephanie, you're a good human. I'm so glad to have met you today. But your PR people are amazing. Every time they send me someone this way, they're just a value add. Will you come back when you're done with the other book and plug?
Yeah, I'd love to. Okay. Thank you for asking.
Yes. Well, we have a children's charity. By the way, just stay with me for one moment while I plug it. These these purple bags behind me are me pre-gaming for Jacaranda. It is the Foundation for Children in Malawi. It's in association with Madonna, and it's funny how little can give them a lot. So we're looking to help raise some funds to get them a library, and I'm getting swag bags and other drinks and spirits donated to get people there and be in the giving mood. It's 501(c), and it's called Jacaranda, and it's November 17th in West Hollywood. If you have a brand, if you have a service, if you have a talent, anything that you would like to donate for these children, this is my 3rd or 4th year of being tied to them, and I'm very excited to see the things that we've been able to create. So let's talk, Stephanie. We can get your bookmarks in there, or couple books
Yeah.
or something. We'll have to talk.
Sure. I'd love
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, you definitely have to come back maybe Q1.
Thank you.
When do you
Okay.
predict the book? No pressure, but when do you predict the next book will be done?
I don't. I'm behind schedule.
You're not behind. Trust me.
I thought it would be out by now, but frankly, I'm doing so much work on the Dark and Silent Office and spreading the word of diversity and digital accessibility that I turn my focus there. So maybe Q2, because I love talking about it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, when it's ready. And when you're ready, we will be here to promote it. Thank you so much for being here. Have the best rest of your Sunday. And thanks, everybody, for being here. What will you start up today? We'll see you next week. Be kind. Ciao.
You're listening to The Startup with Monique LeRae, only on LA Talk Radio.